So my original plan for today's video was to do a couple chants, have a couple drinks, pull my microwave plate out of the microwave and, hoist that thing up. And instead, we're not doing any of that. If you're a Pacific fan who came here because you saw the title as Pacific wins the CPL final and you wanted to have a upward vibes video, yeah, this isn't gonna be it. Pacific FC wins the 2021 CPL Championship 1-0 over Forge FC in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field off of a second half goal by Alessandro Hojadprepor. When championship games end with a result that seems to be against the run of play for your team, it hurts more than I think anything else in soccer does. Like when TFC lost the Canadian Championship to Montreal, I was like, you know what? Montreal deserved it. They were the better team. They had the better season. They had the better game. They deserved it. But this game, after the season Forge had, after everything they accomplished this year, this was the cherry, and they had a fantastic game. Mo Babouli was dancing around everyone. He looked fantastic. The whole first half, Forge was dominating, and then Pacific gets a goal off of a free kick. A beautiful cross in, great positioned header. Everything about that goal was beautiful, but that was their only quality chance of the whole game, really. And that was the goal that won them the North Star Shield and qualifies Pacific for the 2022 CONCACAF League, meaning that Forge will not be the only CPL team to have qualified for the CONCACAF League when it ends after next season, which would have been funny if that was how it turned out. Pacific had a fantastic start to this season. They flew out of the gate, were first place in the table for about the first half, and then kind of fell off and fell behind Cavalry and behind Forge right before the playoffs started, fell out of the regular season first place spot, fell out of a home playoff spot. So they had to do the playoffs the hard way. And not only that, they had to go into the final without Marco Bustos, their best player. And honestly, I'm impressed with the personnel that Pacific was missing and the fact that they didn't get a home game in the playoffs, that they were able to win the semifinals against Cavalry and then go and win the finals of Forge. Two incredibly tough stadiums to go into and get wins. And they went and got wins in both of them. And Pacific FC, after 3 straight seasons of building upwards, get their North Star Shield, get their CPL Championship, becoming just the second ever team to win the Canadian Premier League. This is just a hard video to make because I like the whole CPL. I love the fact that the CPL exists. I love whatever team wins the CPL. I like the whole story of it. But just to have Forge lose in that way, it was just such a emotional gut punch to me. And now I feel like I'm letting down the energy in this video. It's kind of sad, honestly. And I apologize to you, the viewers, especially if you're a Pacific fan, for that, because I mean, if my team just won, I would like to see, the guy who talks about the CPL being all hyped for it. But just the feelings now that Forge have given me all season and last season and that CONCACAF League run, and just to have it all this week end the way it all did this week with the 0-0 draw in Honduras and then losing the CPL Championship at home, losing in a game that I wish I was there, but I can't because I'm unfortunately living halfway across the country now. It hurts. It does hurt. And I think it's a miracle. It's amazing that the CPL in 3 years, just 3 years, has been able to make a league that I'm so emotionally connected to that I'm actually legitimately upset that Forge just lost this match. If there's one thing, though, that this season showed, it's that to compete in the Canadian Premier League and to win the Canadian Premier League, you need depth options. The first season of the Canadian Premier League, Forge was pretty top-heavy, carried by Borges. And Cavalry had a fantastic main 11 guys that they put out pretty much every game, but behind the first 11 they fell off. Last season at the Island Games, it was too short of a season really to really have the depth matter. But this season, Forge, you look at the team that Forge had. They had Passius on the bench. They had Chouanier on the bench. They had Navarro on the bench. You have Metusala coming and filling in because of injuries. You have Sabak in the subs. And then you go to Pacific and you have Bustos and Diaz both injured for the finals, but guys being able to slot in and replace them. You have a team that has both Aparicio and Bustos. You have Data Luke coming off of the bench being absolutely fantastic for Pacific to close out this match. He was a game changer. And now all of a sudden these two teams have shown that the CPL has changed. And already in just 3 years it's changed. And it's not just one or two super talented guys compared to the rest of the league, top heavy, is enough to win. Pacific had to go into this game without Marco Bustos, one of the best players in the CPL, and they got away. They had no Diaz, one of their best scorers, got away with it. And on the flip side, Ford should have come in front of one of the better defenders in the league in Critson, and almost got away with it. Depth now in the CPL is increasingly ever important, and it shows to the weaker teams that if you want to get up to the level that you can contend for a North Star Shield, you need to not only have a strong starting group, but you have to have solid depth pieces that can seamlessly transition up into the starting 11. And the fact that the CPL, how young it is, that we're already at the point where you need substitutes that can seamlessly transition into the starting 11 for you to be a competitive team in this league, that is just ridiculous, the fact that the CPL has already evolved to that level, and it really means big things for the growth of the CPL, just the level of play of the CPL, and the growth of the sport in Canada, because it means that now you're going to be looking for more Canadian guys who are able to play at that level, and as a result, more Canadian guys are going to be able to play at that level because you're going to have more Canadian guys getting in those minutes regularly. But in the end of this great CPL season, congratulations to Victoria's Pacific FC. Just a few weeks after it was announced that they're getting a rival in Vancouver, they go statement win the Canadian Premier League. Good luck representing the CPL in the CONCACAF League next year. I'm so excited to see what those CONCACAF League night games are going to be like at the Isle in Victoria, or I guess just outside Victoria. But I'm so excited to see how Pacific handles the CONCACAF League, see how the CONCACAF League responds to a different Canadian team being in it, and seeing how finally a different CPL team will represent the CPL on the continental level. So that wraps up the 2021 Canadian Premier League season. It's been a wild ride from the kickoff in Winnipeg to the finals in Hamilton. It's been a crazy season filled with exciting moments and proving that the Canadian Premier League is not just a thing, but a beautiful addition to the soccer landscape in Canada. Thank you guys for watching. That does it for this video. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.